If the year has not started off as you anticipated, raise your hand. Show of hands. Show of hands, it's only February, but if you are somebody who already the year is off to a start that you weren't quite yet prepared for, you weren't quite expecting, you received a plot twist that kind of like threw you for a loop, this message is for you. And in this video, I am going to let you know how you are not alone, and then also provide you the mental shifts, the mindset shifts, the beliefs, the encouragement to help you get yourself out of the new year rut, the fresh start, the fake fresh start, if you will. Let me just say, right now, my apartment is a mess. I need to clean it. But I told myself, I was like, you know what? No. I'm going to record this message first because I feel like my surroundings, how I've been living, is a message in itself. And I'm going to need to grasp on how I have been living a life right now in order to, channel this message. But yeah, I was like, you know what? Let me actually get up, get dressed, and then I'll handle the mess later. I'm just going to show up in a way that I have been wanting to show up, and I will get my ducks in a row. Afterwards, I will handle the mess. And I think that's how you need to operate when it comes to living life, when it comes to setbacks, when it comes to things being out of place. I want to read this message that I wrote in my journal. It says, when a chapter of our life arrives in the form of scattered pieces, or even one piece gets taken away, we see chaos, not opportunity. We don't try to understand the bigger picture. We get stuck on this incomplete visual. We cry about past foundations crumbling and try to chase them back into existence, although we once begged for balance and new direction. The problem is not we're experiencing an upheaval. The problem is not, we are being thrown things that we weren't expecting, because we've gone through that before. We've experienced upheaval before. We've known how to bounce back when it comes to those things. And I said, the problem is we're trying to be in competition with a transition that has moral wisdom than we have initial understanding. Right now, we're in February. By the time I post this, it will probably still be February. Let me tell you this. Before the new year even started, I experienced a insane synchronicity that was kind of like foreshadowing the fact that I was about to go through it. That I was about to experience like a shift that I was not expecting. I was about to see the rug get pulled underneath my feet. And let me paint you a picture. I am settled in to the office of my workplace. I'm having my lunch time, but I finished eating my lunch within probably like 10 minutes of the 30 minutes that I had. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me sit here. Let me get on my laptop. Let me type up this message that's on my heart that I'm feeling. Mind you, I went to work so happy that day. I was like experiencing all of these good things. I was like, yes, I'm settled in. I feel so comfortable. Keep in mind, we're going to come back to that word, okay? We're going to come back to that word. But I was like, yes, I can see myself like just being settled into this space, being the financial situation that I have set up for myself. I can see it lasting. I can see myself lasting here. It's going to be great. And for some reason, I decided on my lunch break, I would write up this article about things falling into place. I don't know what prompted it. It was just on my heart that day. So I was like, you know what? I have the time. Let's do it. There's a sentence in the article that says, so I ask you to let things fall into place and don't force yourself to understand how or when. I was like, whatever that means. I was just like, this is what I'm feeling. Let me type it out. So funny that I decided to write that, because I would say maybe like an hour or so after my lunch shift, after I wrote this little page, whether maybe it was for myself or my future self, whatever, I get a call on the phone while I'm still at the job. I'm still working. And they're like basically telling me that I won't have the job anymore. I won't have that role in January because it's the space is shutting down. The space is shutting down for the month of January. And I was like, oh. So it's so funny because like while I was on the call, I just felt myself like just disassociating so much, because I'm hearing you're not going to have this job anymore, although you just got comfortable in the space. So I got that call and I was just like, there's no way this is happening. It was December, last week of December. I was fantasizing about my January, my February, the months, you know, being in this role or whatever. Because I had just got it in October, mind you. Just got it in October. So I was just like being like, yeah, like things are falling into place. But whole time behind the scenes, things are crumbling. Things are crumbling way faster than I could have ever imagined. And getting that call, continuing to having to work my shift, because I still had some time to finish the day, knowing that I have a few days before it's like I never existed in the space anymore. That night, that evening, I felt into such like a deep depression because I was like, I just had figured out my next steps. I had just had figured out where I was going to go next, or how I was going to be in this space, and how I was going to handle my finances now that I'm in a better situation. And now it's like, shoop, 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 shoop. All of that crumbled like a cookie that was cooked for too long. Okay. Later that night, I did end up like talking to my stepdad, talking to my mom, talking to my boyfriend, talking to my friends. And I was just like so emotional because I was just like, how did this happen? What is going on? The new year's about to start and I'm not where I want to be when the new year starts. And then at some point after, you know, the frustration, I laughed. I genuinely laughed because I started thinking back to my lunch break that day. And I was like, how did I know? How did I know things were about to hit the fan? Things were about to be ripped from me. Things were about to change. And I was going to be so stuck in this unknown opportunity that I gave myself advice. I gave myself the wisdom before it even happened. And it's so funny because like when I got the call, I wasn't thinking about the article that I wrote. I wasn't thinking about, you know, all the advice that I just gave myself. And I wasn't thinking about, you know, things will fall into place. I wasn't thinking about it. I was so stuck into the fact that I am losing an opportunity. And so when I was like talking to the people in my community, you know, getting support from them, they were echoing the article, the advice that I wrote for myself earlier that day. And that experience itself showed me that we have the inner knowledge, the inner wisdom to move forward in situations like this. But it's the grief of losing something that clouds our vision, that clouds that inner knowledge that we have, that clouds that inner comfort that we know to give ourselves. And then eventually I had this breakthrough. Think about the things that I genuinely want for my life, what I genuinely want, you know, for the new year, what I've been wanting in my life. I feel like my nose is like very stuffy right now. Is that a message in itself? It's kind of like the universe will let you experience, you know, this stuffy life, this stuffy nose of things that are making you truly feel congested and not allowing you to focus on your purpose, focus on your craft, focus on things that truly are meaningful to you and your purpose and stuff. All the universe wants you to do is get the tissue and blow out the unnecessary stuff. Blow out the unnecessary obstacles that you are placing into your life. Of course, like it's still that emotional experience of letting things go. But it's like once you let these things go, you won't feel congested anymore. You won't feel so congested in your life. The universe will hand you the tissue, will hand you this opportunity to cleanse yourself, or even it might force you, because I realized I kept sneezing, it might force you to release things. It might force things to be relieved from you in order to relieve yourself from this congested state of living. With that being said, let me go blow my nose real quick. Once I got over that emotional state, I was able to acknowledge what losing this means that I will gain. And I started thinking about how I have been wanting more time to rest because I had been overworking myself. I was working 2 jobs. I was just working every day. I was working, barely clocking into my own, you know, personal desires, my own personal creativity. I genuinely just wanted time to rest. I wanted time to redirect. And, you know, it came after loss, which I wasn't expecting. And I feel like that's something we never truly expect when we're like, oh my gosh, I want this, I want that, but we don't anticipate We don't think about the things that we have to lose in order to call that lifestyle in order to call those things in. And so when they're taken from us, when those things that are meant to fall away, when those things that are congesting us are blown out of our life, we're kind of like more devastated that we lost something and less focused on the fact that we just gained a whole new foundation to have something be building or have something built in this downtime. And so opportunity came in when I formed appreciation for what was in front of me. And so I put this question in my journal and I said, are you willing to let change move you in the direction you need to go? Or are you comfortable in the delusion that you must live a life where you have everything you do not want and only dream of everything you do desire? Now I got all this time to rest. I got all this time to create. I got all this time to kind of redirect and reconnect with myself, because I was still living in survival mode, because I was still feeling like that I was just giving myself in all these different ways, giving myself to this company, giving myself to this company, clocking into this shift, clocking into that shift. And I was rarely clocking into me, okay? I was not clocking into connecting with myself, was not connecting with my creativity, not connecting with the true future that I want for myself. Let me know if you can relate to this. I believe that reconnecting with a dream or reuniting with a vision hits harder when you're forced to acknowledge that you forgot the plot of your own life, that you forgot the plot of your own purpose, you forgot your true desires, you stopped doing things that truly, rejuvenate your spirit. Realizing that I got into a space where I just got comfortable not challenging myself. I got comfortable not seeking more. I stopped honoring my true development as a person, and I have lived my life chasing such short-term goals that still fueled a cycle of struggle. A year ago and some change, I remember telling myself, I'm like, look, I just need a job that is enough to pay the bills. I'm like, as long as it's enough to pay the bills, I am okay. It's such a short-term way to go about life. And I'm allowing myself to achieve more and desire more abundance than just survival and just the necessities, the bare minimum of living, because that's not a life. That's not a life for me. And I want to, use this time that I have, this extra time that I have, to not only set myself up for like more long-term success and stop chasing such short-term goals, to really set myself up. Allowing yourself to be like, you know what, I'm done with this cycle. I'm done with it, whatever it is. And this morning I was actually thinking about like how we go about thinking of the new year, especially if the new year has started in a way that you were not expecting, that you do not care for, that you're like, hello, we need to reset the clock. I want you to realize that like at any moment, at any hour even, you can be like, you know what? Wipe my hands of 11, what happened at 11 a.m.? It's 12 o'clock now. It's the afternoon. It's a whole new year. And that's what I was thinking of today, because I was just sitting there eating my cereal for breakfast. I was imagining the type of like luck, the type of harmony, the type of abundance that we can experience if we decide to bounce back quicker. Because it's so easy to be like, dang, the new year started in a way that I did not like. Now I have to wait till next year. Now I have to wait until, the next season in order to get my life together. But let me tell you this, if a disappointment came in at 11 a.m., you can decide that at 12 o'clock, that's a new year. You can decide at, the next minute, like, okay, whatever, let that go. What's next? And I bring that up because last week of December, I told you I faced that, that disappointment. So I kind of like also wrote that disappointment over into January. It really impacted my life for January. And I let that disappointment linger so heavily on my life that I truly felt so out of place. I truly felt like I was just like stuck in this cycle of trying to survive once again. And I did not like it. And then at the start of February, this month, I faced it again. I faced another disappointment. But the difference in how I handled the disappointment from January versus the disappointment from February was how long I let the disappointment linger. When I tell you what I faced in February, I literally told myself, listen, if you're going to cry about it, one tear, You don't gotta be as strict as I was with myself, but I was like over it. I was like, girl, you can be sad about it, you can be emotional, you can process it in however ways you want to, but I was like, do not let it get you stuck though. That's a problem that you experienced an hour ago. It's a new hour, it's a brand new day. Hello, let's get back on track. Let's move forward. Let's continue to push ourselves forward. And at that moment, I truly acknowledged that if every time I got disappointed, I just allowed myself to sink deeply into this depression of loss and get stuck there, I would spend a lifetime wasting away. Life is full of so many disappointments. So many disappointments. And at this point in my life, instead of telling my mental, my nervous system, my comfort zone that I want to avoid disappointment, bring on the disappointment at this point. I want to learn different ways that I can bounce back. I want to learn how to bounce back even quicker with each disappointment. I'm taking this disappointment and I'm going to learn how to use it to, what's that word? Catapult. See, I'm using this motion with my hands to catapult me forward. With, disappointment, I do not want to spend my lifetime accepting that I'm meant to stay down with each disappointment, that I'm meant to just wither in the loss of losing something, that I'm meant to wither in the grief of losing an opportunity. I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm going to take this disappointment, I'm going to take the grief of losing an opportunity, and I'm going to use it as fertilization for a brand new foundation. Bury the opportunity that I once lost because now it's dead to me. It doesn't exist anymore. I'll pretend like I have lived a life without it as I did before it came into my life. And that's also another thing that allowed me to process disappointment a lot differently, is acknowledging that if I lost something, life goes on. And when I say that, I'm saying like, okay, I lost this opportunity. I'm so devastated. I'm so emotional about it. But at one point, I lived a life where that opportunity was not there. I lived a life where I did not even know about this opportunity. I lived a life where I didn't have this opportunity. And, I pushed forward. I lived life. I had fun. I figured things out. I can do the same exact thing afterwards. I've decided that no more am I giving such deep emotion to minuscule setbacks. I say it and so it is. I'm not just going to wither and drown myself in this deep emotions of losing an opportunity that I have lived life without before. Go through the process of emotions, go through the grief and stuff. But once you decide that there's a point in your life where you have to turn that grief into something that's going to move you forward, that's going to be the game changer. Right there, that mindset shift, knowing that I have lived this life without it, I can do it again. I can move forward again. I can build me a brand new foundation again. What I lost is nothing new. Losing something, losing opportunities is nothing new to me. Disappointment is nothing new to me. I've been disappointed before. Here I am standing still. And things will work out. Going back to that article that I wrote before I knew I needed it. Things will fall into place. Allow yourself to be surprised with when it happens, how it happens. See what has been placed in front of you once that thing has been taken away. Once you have been relieved of the things that have been congesting your life, what is in front of you that you can use to rest, to move forward, to catapult yourself in a different opportunity. I want you to remember that you are not the pain of uncertainty. You are the result of a new vision. You are constantly in this cycle of rebirthing yourself, of becoming a brand new person, of becoming someone who is connected with different opportunities. You are not the setbacks that come into your life. If a door has closed on you, why would you dig yourself a grave at that welcome mat? It's never been the only door in this life. You walked through many doors before. You closed many doors before. Doors have closed on you before. This is not your first rodeo. So don't get stuck on that one door. And I feel like Jesus, that scared me. Oh my gosh. The way my heart, you guys, the whole thing is like falling. Whatever. I want you to hear the message in that paper falling right now. Get up and continue. If something falls out of your life, get up and continue. Continue the message that you were saying. Continue the purpose that you're fulfilling. If something falls away, let it. But do not let what's behind you stop you from moving forward. Yes, it spooked me a little bit when that paper fell. If I had pearls right now, I would be clutching them because I was scared. And sometimes it's scary losing something. It's scary seeing something fall out of your life. because you're like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? What's going on? It's messing up. It's messing up the aesthetics of my life right now. Oh well, handle it later. Handle it later, or, you know, figure out what needs to be replaced. Figure out why that thing needed to fall in order for you to move forward. Before that happened, I was like, you stare at one door long enough, you stand at one closed door long enough, your brain starts to trick you into thinking that it's the only door available for you. It starts thinking that your whole life is over because this one door is closed and you're super focused on it. You're focused on the fact that it's not opening anymore. The door is locked. You can't get in. You're devastated because at one point you did get in this door. You were excited to get in this door and now you can't. Whenever you think that this is the only door that I'm going to walk through, I want you to remind yourself to turn around. I want you to remind yourself to look around, to acknowledge that it is never the only door. It is never the only path. Turn around, look around, see what other doors are available to you. And if you turn around and you're looking around and you do not see a door, great. That means you have outgrown the space that you're in and you need to move. You need to go. You need to move forward. You need to walk a whole different path in order to find things that do align with you. So it's time to move. It's time to walk. It's time to leap. It's time to fly. Whatever it takes to get you out of this space that you have outgrown, do it. Go beyond what you've known. It's time to move forward in a way that you have never done before. And it's going to be scary. It's going to be confusing because you've never been there before. But guess what? That means that you're going to be in a whole new space that aligns with the person that you are because you've never been there before. You've never even met this version of yourself before, which is why you still need to move, which is why you need to go forward and exist in this whole different life. Your life is just starting. Every time the minute changes on a clock, it's a whole new life for you. You have a whole new opportunity to live a totally different life. You do not have to wait until Happy New Year's 2027, Happy New Year's 2028. No, you can literally say, oh, it's 10 o'clock. At 10:01, I'm moving different. A new life starts the moment you accept that the old life wasn't enough, that the opportunities that you had in the old life just wasn't doing it for you. It is time to say, you know what? This life isn't truly aligned with what I want. And it makes sense that that thing fell away. It makes sense that, you know, I needed to make space for something different. It makes sense that those things have to fall away because then I wouldn't have not known what to do with this thing over here. I would have not known to move different in this way. Things need to fall away in order for you to reconnect with yourself, take a moment, reflect on the resources that you've been using, reflect on the tools that you've been using and realizing that it's time for an upgrade. It's time to move differently with different tools because the old tools don't exist. Oh, the old tools will not exist in this new life. The old tools just cannot fix the things that I want to bring into this new life. I need better tools. I need bigger tools. Ease into the new vision. Don't be scared to be still. Remember when that paper fell? I literally paused. When things are falling away, when you are hearing these noises and things are shaking up in your life, don't be afraid to be still for a little bit and see what's falling. See why it's falling. Understand what losing this will bring into your life. And with that being said, I want to also read this last sentence that I have in my journal. Start with feeling ambitious, and soon luck and harmony will follow after. Luck and harmony is the result of you moving forward and seeing where you are fulfilled. Thank you all for tuning in. I will talk to you all next time. Remember that if the year has started off rough, you're tougher. You can handle it. Been there, done that. You faced disappointment before. Get up, continue. You got this. We got this. Sending love, luck, harmony, and success your way.